Hey, how's it going, guys and gals? Welcome. So it's our first episode of Push to Talk. I'm your host, Life Shifter.
Push to Talk.
Yeah.
You mean INNsider?
Push to INNsider. I don't know why. I did that yesterday too. I have no idea why.
Just got Push to Talk in the brain.
All gaming news. Yeah, we're doing all gaming news. I'm joined today by Drunk Canadian, Captain Tutu, and my buddy Pwnecast. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So we're gonna get going today. We've got quite a few different things to talk about. We didn't really pick a top story for today, although there's quite a few stories of this week that kind of has been going around, so it's pretty cool, something different, you know. Yeah.
There was nothing that really that big on the docket to make it as a top story, I didn't think.
Yeah, like everything was like there's relative news, but nothing was like a top story, so to speak.
Like Sean Murray didn't put out another failure game or anything. Like,
Yeah, there wasn't anything like that.
I think more or less. Oh.
Go ahead.
I was gonna add into there where I was gonna like, well, I mean, like this is like the way the world like gaming goes is like it's there's a lot of sensationalized stuff, but there's really like no concrete for us to bite into most of the time. So you're just always like, hey guys, guess what? Somebody designed a new quick time movie for you to watch, and you can enjoy that before we really release the game.
Oh yeah.
I noticed I plugged the quick time in there. I just wanted everyone to feel inclusive, and it wasn't just PC users.
Quick time. all right.
So
did I just date myself?
you may have.
Maybe.
Some ICQ Messenger in there.
No, I gotta go back to AIM.
Hey guys, we need to get ourselves a Yahoo group chat going on.
Oh man, gotta get that chat room hype going.
And get that ASL to everybody.
All right. So let's jump on like one of our first topics for today. We've got the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer dropped this week. So what are you guys' thoughts about it? I thought it was pretty cool. I liked it. It gave us a good insight on what's going on, but it's still making me wonder a little bit who the protagonist is going to be.
It doesn't really show a ton of gameplay either, right? And like I was saying earlier, the thing with Red Dead 2 is you got some huge shoes to fill. Like if you don't add up to what Red Dead 1 was, people are gonna be let down pretty hard.
Yeah, I think more or less with the Red Dead Redemption. So just to trying to fill the gaps between these, there is gameplay. It is some of the in-game animation of what they highlight mostly with Red Dead, where they're saying that the in-game is matching the CGI of like regular stuff they would do, which Rockstar has always been really good with. Because I mean, if you look at the progressions, and I encourage people start from the very first GTA and move yourself forward of the in-cut scenes to how bad they used to look to how good it looked. And now it's almost like just flawless to where you can't really tell the difference between the two. But with the new one, it seems that we're looking at two brothers, one being in a gang and one being the antagonist, of where he is the good guy seems to be this main storyline of what we're looking at. Because if you watch the trailer, you can see that he's talking about his brother and about like he's on the wrong side, and how it's going to create a division amongst this era of dying gunslingers and outlaws. And I think it's a nice little way to kind of let Red Dead really retire, because making the 3 would just be weird. But
yeah,
is it essentially stealing the storyline from that movie with Is it Joaquin Phoenix, where the one brother's a cop and Matt Damon? You know the movie I'm talking about?
I vaguely remember. I think I know which one you're talking about. It's like from God, like I want to say mid '90s maybe.
I don't know why, but as soon as you started describing it as like two brothers and one's good and one's bad, I was like, it's like that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say Titanic. That shit.
Yeah, Titanic. That was it.
That was what I was thinking. No, wait, isn't it God?
I thought we own them.
It starts with a D, right? It starts with a D. It's like a. And he like won an award. He like grew a.
The Departed.
Departed, yes. Was that?
Well, Departed was newer. That's not Joaquin Phoenix. Matt Damon's in it with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right, yeah.
But they're not. I don't think they're brothers. It's all like the cross.
There's one where they're brothers. There's a different one. Anyway, we're off topic.
Goodwill Hunting? No.
I think bringing up ICQ Messenger was a mistake because people were linking their ICQ numbers.
Oh my god! You know that thing still
Who's
goes.
actually still on that?
Oh, dude, a lot of people. You don't know? Like, I see that. That's still a hacker like hub. Like, you can't.
Yeah,
it's really weird because
it's like a secret underground
like
thing still.
Like the secret darknet sort of chat now. That's what ICQ has become.
Well, yeah, because like it's just like if you watch Dear White People, as they say, it's the truth never the truth never goes away. It just goes underground. So like ICQ is that truth because it's an independent like really, it's really a punk rock like network. And also, it's also a really fucked up network because you can send some really shitty things.
I mean, maybe we should have thrown that in the technology part. People still using ICQ.
Yeah, there's our little bit of notes for next time. So we got like another couple big updates, like game updates that happened this week, including another one. So we have Siege that got its new update, which it's a hit or miss. Like some people really like it, some people really hate it so far from what I've gathered. Like my brother's playing the shit out of Siege lately. Like he is really digging into it. Like he's been playing, like he's trying to make like plat right now.
I have one question. Did they nerf the stupid operator that has the button like Ant-Man and it just heals everybody, insta revives dudes anywhere on the map? You know what I'm talking about? What operator is that?
That's
that's
Finka?
Doc.
Oh, Doc?
No, not Doc. Doc's the one with the gun.
Yeah,
There's
Doc's
another
on
one.
Finka was the one.
Finka.
That's okay. Did that get nerfed? Please tell me that
She's being looked at right now.
Yeah, there's no
gosh.
nerf from that. I just know that Blitz got the nerf because they had the in-gun shield, and that's what's pissing people off a lot because Blitz, like, so as you guys know, if you guys play the game, what happens is Blitz has a shield, but he can stick his like pistol out through the top corner. So what people were doing was somehow glitching it into the shield, so he never had to move it. So constantly the gun was pointing through the shield as he was shooting, and nobody could shoot him or cap him.
Well, did you see the other one too, where he had it? There was a glitch apparently somebody got a hold of, and you can basically rapid fire your pistol, and it's 100% accurate. It didn't do the random like off the side shooting like you would, it would spray. You would spray and pray basically, but it actually got it where it was like 100% accurate, and like somebody demoed it in a YouTube video, and they're just like pop 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 like with one clip and just instantly nuke the dude, headshots.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it's not really even a nerf. That's like a glitch fix, though.
That's
right?
a glitch fix, yeah. That one's more of a glitch fix than anything.
It's like I find Blitz is, I don't know, he's kind of OP, but not like to the point of needing nerf.
Yeah.
Real quick, one of the people says that I'm too low volume-wise. Do I sound too low?
Oh, I can fix you.
Sound fine to us. I know somebody was complaining about RSG's typing.
Yeah, my typing, it's because my mic is right above me, and it kind of points down this way, so. Yeah,
Like,
so sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah.
So what's the gist of the update? Is it just like a bunch of nerfs and stuff?
It's a bunch of most of it is operator fixing basically, and then the big thing was Lion. Lion was like the brand new operator that came out this season that was able to basically scan and find your enemies anywhere on the map.
I
So-
hate that noise. It's literally, they need to get rid of that noise.
With that little vibrating.
Yeah, when it's actually active and it's like, brrr, like that's gotta go.
Dude,
I love that though.
It makes it a little tense.
He says your volume is too low.
I just pumped them up a bit.
Okay. No, I like that because it does add to it because like if you really look at the game while you're playing, some people just ignore it because they don't really give a shit about it. They're just like, oh, I'm just gonna jump over and move in because if I'm so close, it's not a big deal. But other people, yeah, it bugs them because they're trying to listen for those that whole thing.
Wait, you're trying to listen for footsteps and like audio cues, and I don't understand why that drone scanning is just like, brrr, like I don't get like, I guess the lore behind it doesn't make sense to me. That's why.
I guess it's supposed to be a what is it called? not like an echolocator, but it's vibrating the place to get the sense of where they are. I guess it is a form of echolocating, right? In that case.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. So his big changes, his charges went from 3 to 2, which was a big thing. Like I thought that was really stupid. And then the charges now got longer in that case. So now you have less, but now you have a 20-second. The duration was doubled. So that was kind of an interesting change. Jaeger's thing now can go for multiple charges. It looks like for his Blitz obviously was fixed. We talked about his flash range was actually reduced quite a bit, from 8 to 5 meters, and then he also has 4 charges now instead of 5. Jesus, cat. Cat's like, hey, what are you doing?
That?
It's like, cat. I'm just like, go away.
Terrible. Your cat's mad at you, man.
Yeah, you're catching heat, man. Okay, so as they're looking at it, it says like with line, outline will only appear for the duration of player movement. The scan charges reduced from 3 to 2. Cooldown between scans increased from 10 to 20 seconds, which I appreciate that. I think the longer scans do help out because sometimes the 10 really doesn't get them.
No, that's why three made sense in the shorter duration, because then you could just do 3 little spurts, and then people would do like Dogapi to go and ping your cell phone at the same time to force them to move.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you're lining that thing up for like a key moment of like a push or something like that, and it forces them to move, like 10, 20 seconds is a lot nicer. So then they're gonna have to move, and then it makes that ability a little bit more viable.
Yeah, and then we also have like, so then the next nerf goes to Jaeger for Magpie no longer destroys Habana's X-Karo's pellets, which I think that's a reasonable nerf on that point. I think it's a little bit cheap the way it was done. So being able to kind of like take that extra advantage, because other operators always have to deal with that kind of force where it's like, oh shit, that really sucks because I'm not really able to, do more. Like I think more is you're not allowed to do more than other operators, have like one more unfair advantage, because it becomes really situational at times.
Yeah, and a lot of the big changes they pointed out too are just because like these operators, with how they were just too high of a win percentage. Like they were auto picks for a lot of teams.
Crazy when they came out, man. Like it was just disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have shield flash for Blitz reduced from 8 meters to 5, which is nice. Shield flash charges reduced from 5 to 4. Virgil, he's one of the characters that annoys me, but he's reasonable for the fact of where they say like they went from his electronic rendering cloak will deplete in charges in 12 seconds down from 30 seconds.
That's
the electronic
good.
rendering, yeah, the electronic rendering cloak will now recharge in 6 seconds down from 12 seconds. Again, these are things that I think are reasonable, but I think having Habana's Claymore replaced with a breaching charge,
that was stupid.
I kind of like that. I like that. I think that when you gave her too much, you're just kind of like,
that. Well,
Habana's
yeah, that's
already
true.
a great character.
Yeah, So for pro play, it made a big difference. Like in casual, I don't think people used it the same way, but that's that difference in casual versus competitive too.
Oh yeah, no, they're very specific to it though. I mean, like I would just barely begun playing like ranked, and like I just had these people like, why would you place a breach charge there? Why would you do this? I'm just like, I'm just trying to learn.
I'm laughing at the
There's no place for casuals.
Yeah, right. Filthy casuals. No.
It's like going into CS:GO. Like you're gonna just get shit on by people that know what they're doing.
Just an FYI, people are pointing out. Yeah, I play Siege, I like it, but I'll let the experts talk on this one because I have no idea about like any of the stats or the characters in the game. But I do like Siege, so. But
Siege is a lot of fun. I'm still pretty much a casual, like compared to my brother and his friends now. Like they've been playing it, like I'm not even kidding, like nonstop. They're playing like anywhere between 8 and 10 hours a day lately.
Oh man, that's awesome what they just did for so like the interesting part about this for the damage tables, they nerfed like some of the characters damage, like I think they did for Ashe. They brought down her LMGE damage update, so a normal weapon is dropped to exactly 26 over range and distance, and then over range and distance everything else is kind of maintained the same. But the big nerf also came, it seems like, for not Blitz, god I can't remember her name, but it's one of the female characters.
Ying was the other one that got like Ying was weird because they're saying that she was too strong in organized play, so they go and take away her smoke grenades and give her claymores, which made her better in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's true. But like if you look at so they nerfed, so what they did was for new suppressed damage, she dropped from 26 to 23 in distance. So like if you look at like these charts, and I'll link you guys so you guys can see them. If you look at the charts for them, you can actually see right here that the damage gets reduced because bullet drop. They don't do it because like what you're shooting through so much, but more of the distance. So over a certain amount of distance from 0 meters, 25 to 40, the bullet drops do less damage, just like in Hunt. And so what happens is, if you look at like all of them, the only one who went up, and I can't remember his name, but he's the dude from South America, from Brazil. His damage actually goes up. They spike it for about 10 to 11 points of damage because he was so.
It gets better at further range.
No, it gets worse for the range. So example,
Okay,
like,
I heard that.
Yeah,
Right.
so see these updates, like a lot of the LMG updates, is their damage got buffed significantly, but the difference is at range, now they suck more at range, whereas before the damage was, it was okay, and then it just drops down to shit. Now it's good, but then it drops down to shit. The same level.
It's realistic, because that's how LMGs work.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and then like suppressed made a lot more sense too. Like suppressed drops down dramatically, but I mean that's supposed to be that's what it's supposed to be, right? Like suppressed already by itself is already the damage reduction on its own. You trade off for a silenced weapon.
Suppressed stuff triggers the shit out of me because of my military experience, and I'm not even gonna get into it. But I can't even contribute to that conversation.
But I mean, it overall, like a lot of them looks like they got buffed, except for the 6P4 one, and I can't remember who uses that off the top of my head. But it's just a 1 damage drop. It's not a big thing. Some of the other ones, Finka and Ela are still being looked at. Finka's win rate is too high, but they don't know what to do with her yet. So they're trying to collect more data on how they think they can adjust her, which is makes sense because she's also an auto pick lately.
Put her on the bench for a week.
Yeah, so they go. I mean, you go and get ready to breach. You drug induce everybody, and then everybody goes in, all buffed up with the damage reduction and a little hyped up senses.
The thing I hate about that is the insta revive. That's what kills me. It's not even like the buff. It's like somebody can be down in the next fucking planet, and she hits that button, and you're just good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's because they have to be downed, right? They can't be dead. They just have to be downed.
Yeah,
and then
if
they
you're
get
downed and you're like, man, somebody help me, she just taps that button. Doesn't matter where you are on the map. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love the interrogation that comes with those characters. Like I thought that was like a nice little added thing where it's like, oh, she interrogates you. That's awesome, because I like the fact that it doesn't have to be a radar, or some bullshit like that. I think just like the interrogation, like I'll tell you where they're at. It's like, yes.
The interrogations I find are hilarious in that game, period. Just from watching YouTubers and streamers play that game, and they're just panicking, like, I'm getting interrogated, somebody help me.
Wait, who does the interrogation?
So it's another one of the operators. It's the female. She's the counter operative to the Brazilian. God, I can't remember.
That's not Ela, right? That's not the one they were just talking about.
No. That's I think Eli is. I want to say from the U.S. Is he from the U.S. or no? It's Line. Like I think Line. Let's see here. Let's Rainbow Six operators. There we go. That way I can just have their names and just say it that way easily, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't know them well enough to say that I know every single operator. But let's see here. Where is he? There we go. Now I got the name for him. Caviera. She does the interrogation.
Oh, that's right. That she's a relatively newer addition, also, right?
She is, but she's really good. She's really good the way she does it, because I love watching her, like just run like her. I think her abilities really make a lot of sense. Is that if she's in about like being a suppressed agent and that she has to be working under the radar, I like the fact that her footsteps are so quiet, because sometimes I never see it. I just hear, I'm like, oh god, I'm getting shot and I don't know where she is, and like run for it. And yeah, it's the reactions I love that you get from it, where you're like, oh no, she's about to interrogate me, please god. Like I feel terrified, and it's my video game character.
Yeah. You're more afraid for your character than everything else.
Yeah, that's the funniest part about the interrogations. It's just how people react to it.
It's like, don't interrogate Legion. He has a family.
Oh god.
Probably does have a family. You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about them, torturing Buck, because I mean, he's usually that guy who's like, I'm Buck and I like to fuck. It's like, dude, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
It's funny. I hear people saying that in the chat every time they play Buck too. Like, I want to say it's like over half of the time I play, and if somebody on our team, it's like that's like a go-to line for Buck in the game.
It's at the level of annoyance of like, I used to be an adventurer, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done with that. Like, stop it.
Pretty much.
Like
we get it. You're Buck. We got it.
So let's go on to one of our next topics. So one of the other ones that's been a big game recently is Far Cry 5. I
didn't even know about this until I read it today. I was like, what?
Yeah, I did. It's like a limited time event, I guess, for the for the shovel gun they put in. So everybody was like really happy about the shovel in the first place because you basically chuck that thing like a spear, pin people to the walls. You could do all kinds of crazy stuff with the shovel. But apparently
there's even a multiplayer map that's super popular where literally it's just you have no guns and you have unlimited shovels and it's like a dodgeball court.
Yeah,
and there's like a pit in the middle and you're just fucking whipping shovels at the other guys. It's ridiculous.
It sounds incredible.
So that,
I'm not gonna lie to you, I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
I need to check that out.
I was gonna say, what did you think, Captain, when you were playing Far Cry 5 with a shovel? Like, did you get much fun with the shovel?
I loved it. Yeah, I didn't realize you could throw it until like much later. I remember I was doing a stream and I think I did it accidentally. I was like, oh my god, you can throw it and it just like insta kills people. It's crazy.
And you could pick them up and do it again.
Yeah.
That was like the best part of it all. It's like, oh, you could pick it up and be like, oh, hold on, let me pick this up.
It's not hard to
Next.
find. Like if you're shooting an arrow or something at somebody, and you're like, fuck, where'd my arrow go?
No.
Shovel's pretty obvious to go get.
And it's like the little military shovels, right? Like the model they use for it's like the little military like foldable shovels, right? That's what it looks like
Oh,
usually.
the E-tool, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big ass like metal shovel that you use.
Yeah, there's another one I kind of wish I kind of wish I had gotten to also out of our notes was the State of Decay 2 tech test. Did anybody get to play that?
I did not.
I went to go sign up for it, and I couldn't.
This weekend?
Yeah, I think it was going on this weekend, actually. Or this week.
I wasn't really tracking any of it. Well, I didn't play State of Decay 1, so like it wasn't really a game I was really looking at.
Yeah, like State of Decay 1 for me wasn't too big. I wasn't too interested in it.
I'm on the opposite bank of this one. I really love State of Decay. I think for an independent studio to make the game that they did, to really bring its own personality, but yet still incorporate a familiar, mechanic for everyone, is not an easy task. And for it to achieve the status that it achieved is really the biggest thing that I think is actually really incredible. Because Microsoft jumped on the bandwagon after the fact that it did so well, and that's what's kind of kept that studio alive. So I think State of Decay 2. Expanding into the multiplayer atmosphere by bringing a lot more action to the zombies and movement, and I think it's going to be a new thing that a lot of people will be really into. It's going to start out. This is, to me, they're not going to start out as a typical like, oh yeah, this game is going to be, what is it, like big, because usually during big launches you see these giant sized mass, like advertising. This is going to be the very slow, but it's really going to reach that point to where one person sees it, then the next, and then it's just gonna snowball. And that's where I'm at for this game, because it's gonna be a game I am gonna definitely play with my community, because like we've gotten to more of those kind of bases, and just the fact that you can cooperate, work together, build bases, and actually build a community in a zombie-like atmosphere, I really enjoy. Because I don't mind games like Rust and the other survival games, but I really appreciate a game that really incorporates the idea of teamwork, and I think that's why like games like Hunt and the new GTA Online is really cool to me, because I really appreciate the level of like, you can say like, let's build our community here and let's make this happen, let's do this, and it can go so many different ways. It can evolve. Like this game is an open box, so it's not going to just stay one type of game. It's going to be open to so many different mods to it, and I think that's just amazing. And you don't get that.
I think I did see a trailer for that, actually. It did look good now that I think back. Yeah, I think the trailer I saw like a bunch of people were like building in some place, and it was like, do you use your meds on this person, or like blah blah blah, and like that does look good actually.
Yeah.
Price point. I was going to say the price point is really nice on there too, because it's $30 for the full game, and then you can get it on Game Pass for $10 a month.
Yeah, and to be honest, digital game content. I think that's really important for them to really succeed these days. Is you can't measure by the same standards what they used to be of selling games. If your game is not complete and you're trying to promise like, oh, eventually it'll get complete, then I don't think I need to pay $60 for an incomplete idea. Like if you're going to give me half a game, I'm going to pay half the price at, being your guinea pig to make this work. And in this case, this game, didn't have those updates, but they still were willing to offer the game at a reasonable price where you're just like, yeah, I can buy this game and try it out for that, which I think is a good way to get more players to come in. Like, for Hunt, when they first launched, I told them, I go like, I'm not really happy with like the price point, because it's the $10 over 30, and you're expecting a kind of a half-finished game to like take off this way. And now that they've really taken that to drop the price to get an initiative crowd in, I think it's doing better, because it's not that you have a physical copy It's the fact that it's digital that I think really draws people away. Because if you don't have something tangible in your hand for $60 that's yours property wise, and in a digital cloud, it doesn't feel that like, you know, like $60 worth. It feels like it's just like, oh, this is a 10, 20, because if I die or my computer blows up or I never decide to venture into the internet again, I lose that content.
I still feel like I'm paying a company to be a tester, which they used to pay people to do that for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, so going back to like the State of Decay 2 tech test, like it sounded like the link I posted that we had here was, it actually had, I guess, a pretty rough tech test. Like it wasn't very smooth for a lot of people, which was a lot of
Was that on PC as well?
Yeah. So you had to choose, or you had to choose on this one, I guess. Actually, no, yeah, this one was PC only, actually. Yeah, because I went to go sign up for it, and it wanted me to put in my DX diag, and I'm like, I'm not home, so I can't do this.
Yeah, no. You would ask for like my race, and all kind of weird stuff.
Yeah, you're like, why? You're like, why do you need all this extra information?
Yeah.
Like, if you want my PC information, that's fun. That's fine, you know. But some of the game was like hairstyle of Leia. I think DC. I think that's your.
Yeah, I know that's directed at me. Didn't have to say it. I get it. My headphones are giant. Yep.
See, one of the things I do love about this, and I tell people, I do like the fact that at least while we have this discussion, it's an open forum, not just for us, but the viewers to partake in what they want to add into it. Because I say more or less that alone makes a great initiative for all of us to say, hey, yeah, like, you know, I think this is awesome. Like, we're being open to have this discussion, not with ourselves, but with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the great part for people to enjoy about that, you know, like, because having this open forum of saying we think this is one thing is great, but I also think that having this forum to have other people go like, oh shit, like I think this is awesome, that I get to partake and say my face or my piece on this.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was gonna go into segment our new Conan Exile stuff, but I want DC to talk about that a little bit more. But for now, we could actually go and jump into one of our other big hot topics of the week. It's the big thing for everybody lately is Fortnite Season 4 started this week. I brought a new map. The meteor finally hit. Everybody was wondering and speculating for a long time, why is there meteors in the sky? And then all of a sudden they added more, and everybody's like, uh-oh, Tilted Towers is gonna go away. It's above Tilted Towers. But yeah, like we got a bunch of new meteor crystals. We've got, like, with the special abilities, we got new skins, a couple more cosmetics. We got new sprays. Sprays are actually a thing now. The challenges came in. One of the other big things, I guess, some people were upset about it, some people didn't care, was they vaulted the crossbow. I'm personally upset about it because I like the crossbow. Unlimited ammo, you could snipe with it. You could never tell where it was coming from. It was great.
I feel like
Fortnite?
it needed work. It's something to me about, like, I like that it had unlimited ammo. I like how silent it was, but something to me about just like the hit ratio on that weapon was really weird to me.
Yeah, that is true, because it was kind of inconsistent. Like, you could go and aim in the same spot, but it would not be accurate by any means.
Yeah.
I mean, not that a crossbow was ridiculous.
There's a lot of people that had that problem. I was actually, I think it was last night, I was watching a Summit 1G highlights video, and he was trying to kill people with a crossbow, and he was just freaking out because that same problem. Like, you're aiming the same spot and you're not moving, and the arrow's just randomly going wherever. Yeah.
I think that was one of their problems. I think they wanted to vault it for. Plus, it was becoming a weapon people weren't picking. And then I think Captain and me were talking about this earlier. Is like, it's cool when they finally reveal or know that weapons aren't getting picked up, so they go Epic goes and vaults them for a time being, so they could do some work on it and bring it back later. This is kind of the same thing. Like, me and my brother were talking about this last night. I kind of wish they would do the same thing to the minigun. Like, the minigun, I think, is cool, but it's not useful. But the LMG is so much more useful than that now.
Yeah.
It's pretty useful for tearing down people's structures when they're building.
But that's it. Like, nobody's picking it up for that reason too, because it's only good for that. Because it's
and even then, if you find like a rocket launcher, then
you're gonna take the rocket launcher 9 times out of 10 over the
100%
over the minigun. And even then, like, if you wanted to get close range with the minigun and try to kill somebody, the spool up time kills you 90% of the time.
Yeah, you have to, like, pre-fire it. You have to, like, get it ready. Like, you hear somebody, so you start firing and then pre-fire a corner. Like, it wasn't good for, like, snap shooting or, like, chance encounters. Like, you were fucked.
Yeah, that thing, it should be just like, I feel like it should take a long time to load up. It should be inaccurate, but it should, like, shred people, like, real quickly. Like that would be the kind of upside to it.
Well, it kind of already does that. It's already slow. It's already inaccurate.
Yeah.
Oh no, like if it's at full thing and somebody's at full shields or whatever, then yeah, like it doesn't just annihilate them, but it still does a lot of damage.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you get spooled up, or you know somebody else, your buddy's fighting him or something, and you get on like a rooftop or something, or on top of your little man-made fortress, and you start shooting at him, then you get some kind of stuff out of it. But it's not the same level of the LMG now. After they introduced the LMG is just so much more accurate, and you can actually use it for gunfights, and you don't have to wait for a spool time with a 250 round mag.
I guess the LMG kind of killed the minigun then.
Yeah, pretty much. Like as soon as that came out, it's an automatic choice now. You don't pick. If you see a minigun, you're like, I'm gonna take this LMG here, or I'm gonna take anything else but the minigun, pretty much. Like we found like two golden ones.
It's funny when you watch people like find a gray shotgun and a gold minigun, and they're like, gray shotgun it is.
Yeah, basically. I mean, the shotguns are so useful too. Like, especially that new heavy shotgun they got in there now. Man, like it's a one hitter quitter 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Is double shotgunning still a thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But I mean, so they countered it a little bit though. So it's slower to pull your guns out now. So they changed you can't just go and like whip it out and go crazy like back and forth. So now they've made it to where it actually takes a little time to switch.
Yeah, because that was kind of ridiculous for a while. Like guys would just rock shotguns and just be constantly weapon swapping, and just it was almost for like rapid fire.
So now it's on par with basically like the cocking of the shotgun basically. So like if you go and shoot and you have to wait for the pump to happen, like it's the same amount of time now just to switch.
Yeah, so there's no benefit. Yeah, that makes sense.
And
I'm glad they got rid of that because that was cheese-tastic.
Well, yeah, and then you would see people like Ninja, like just tearing people apart with just that mechanic alone. And Epic's like sitting there looking at him like, "You're a poster child for this game now. We don't like what you're doing there."
Yeah, you're really highlighting some flaws here.
Yeah, basically. I mean, especially when you get a guy that goes and has an average of 100 to 130,000 viewers on his normal streams, and then does it again.
90% of which are people playing Fortnite.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's like the big hot topic now, or hot item now. And then look at, I mean, even just we'll break off a little bit to Ninja. I mean, look at what happened with Ninja in just a matter of like 3 months. He went from being he was a big streamer still beforehand, but he wasn't nearly as big as he is now. And then all of a sudden, Summit at the time hit the most followed channel on Twitch, and then he was literally a week and a half later he was surpassed by Ninja for playing Fortnite. And now I don't know if you guys have looked at how many followers he's got now. He literally over doubled Summit. He's at like 6.3 million followers or something at last time I checked, and I was like, oh my god.
But in all fairness though, like with that, like Shroud or Summit or any of those guys, if they were just sticking to just Fortnite, they would probably be doing better too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and that's
like Shroud's playing random things lately. Summit's been all over the map and like bouncing from CS and back. So I mean, if you're just playing Fortnite like Ninja constantly, like, of course you're going to keep growing.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's like one of those things with like, Twitch as a whole. Like, a lot more channels get bigger a little bit faster by playing one game, unless the one game isn't doing so good. Then that's a different story, you know. But
well, it can also vary. I mean, like that's the thing that I'm sitting at this crossroads right now myself, is that like I'm playing one game that I thoroughly enjoy, which I encourage a lot of other people to play because I say it's a great game. Like Hunt is an amazing game, and I think it really gets a lot of undersell because people try to act like these game snobs of like, oh, my FPS is not like the full potential. It's like, granted, it's not, but if it's playable, it's playable. And when they say it's an early access game, I think the honesty behind it is part that I appreciate. So that way, it's like, when you help a community grow, you're going to help the game get better. So when you decide to play it once and say, oh, this garbage of a game, you're like, well, they told you going in that that's what this was going to be.
Yeah, it's not like they're selling you a full release game and saying, oh, it's broken, I'm sorry, we're going to fix it later.
Look at Ark. Like, Ark was unoptimized for everything forever, and people was like still playing it. But yeah, like, I highlighted the thing, like, oh, my FPS sucks, so fuck that game.
Even when that game released, I could not play anywhere near high on graphics quality because the game was so unoptimized at the time, and I was like, oh my god, like that was atrocious back then. But it was early access.
But they were honest about it. They were like, they actually had patches that were like, yeah, it's still not optimized, so expect this. And like then I think a lot of people didn't care. Like I didn't care because I'm like, oh, at least the company's being honest with me.
Yeah. At least they were upfront about it.
Ignoring it completely, and you're like, my FPS sucks, and they're like.
Or No Man's Sky, with 90% of their content missing and not saying anything until launch, and people found out, and they're like, the hell is this What is this?
Will it have multiplayer? Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you'll never ever run into the same person ever because the universe is so done. Within a week, they ran into each other. You're like,
oh no, it was like the first 2 days they ran into.
Yeah,
the
it was two friends that were playing together. Like they figured out what planet they were on, and the other guy flew to his planet. They're like standing in the exact same spot. They're like, huh.
So they're like, so what happened to seeing each other on the game, guys? Well, I don't know.
So,
I guess you can't do that.
multiplayer?
Yeah. And that's when they found out multiplayer was a lie.
That was a huge lie. But that's a really bad example because that game is probably the worst game in history for launch.
Oh,
it's like I told you guys earlier. I will say it's because I have to sign no NDA directly from his mouth. When you ask a guy directly, "What's your game about?" and he says, "I don't know, but we'll figure it out," that's a real bad sign because then you're like, "That's no direction. There's nothing to follow that. It's just you're making a game for whatever X reason, and now you want me to pretend that it's going to be okay."
Isn't that usually one of the first things you have to come up with when you're coming up for a concept of game? Is like, what's your game going to be about? What are you going to be doing?
Yeah.
And then you go to the drawing board and start like developing it. Not like we threw some random shit together and we'll just figure out what it's about later.
Yeah. Well, then you go into games like what is it called, Star Citizen, that had a vision, but its vision has changed like probably over a dozen times.
That game was too big, though. Like, they wanted to do too much stuff. That was never going to happen.
Well, they wanted to compete with EVE, and then they wanted to compete with Elite Dangerous at the same time, but also be bigger. And first-person shooters, and be bigger.
MMOs, and RPGs. Like, they wanted to hit it all. Like, it was never going to happen.
No. And then you got stuff like, guys like Chris Roberts, for example, the guy that makes Star Citizen. If you ever look at his track record, and it's the same thing I tell people when they want to get into the game, I'm like, you guys got to look back. Like, Star Citizen looks cool, and it has a really cool idea behind it, but the guy that's made it has always done this with his games. He's made a game and then never completed it, and then just drops it at some point.
Caleb's saying
you warned me about that.
Chris Roberts has Eve envy.
I had time to play it when they had their whole free weekend, and it's a lot. It's like almost too much. It's like it doesn't have its own identity. It doesn't know what it wants to be. There's like a lot you can do, which I appreciate, but there's a lot that still needs work as well, because it's like
I think Dual Universe did what Star Citizen should have. They took a smaller chunk of what they wanted to do that kind of encompasses stuff, but they made it like manageable. Like most big game companies have trouble keeping a big title up to date and dealing with all the glitches and stuff when they're focusing on one genre or gameplay style. And then Star Citizen is like, oh, we'll just do everything.
Well, yeah, and Dual Universe also has like a really cool, like they're actually constantly updating their roadmap. They're like, hey, we want to have all these features in the end, but right now we're going to get to this, and then we're going to get to this, and then we're going to get to this, and then we're eventually just going to build our essential dual universe.
It reminds me a lot of how space engineers used to handle their game. Like, they were just very focused. The roadmap was very, like, everybody knew what the fuck was going on, and they were very active and focused with it. And that's what kind of Dual Universe is doing. And that's why I think that's going to be actually a really good game.
Yeah, I have hopes for it. I was sad when I heard that they didn't complete their Kickstarter. I didn't kickstart on that one, also just because I got Kickstarter burned a few times, so I was kind of done with Kickstarters for a little bit. I still am, actually. Like, I haven't... The only games I've actually kickstarted at all has been, like, the silly little... what are they called? The card games from the Oatmeal. Like, or what is it called? Exploding Kittens and Bears versus Babies. Like, these little card games. They're hilarious.
I think I threw $5 towards My Little Blacksmith Shop. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Mm-mm. That's a pretty neat little indie game. It's developed by like one guy.
Wasn't that the same as like Getting Over It too? Getting Over It was a little Kickstarter game at one point.
Oh, Bennett Folly. Don't ever play that game. It's the worst.
Yes.
Like, you want to get mad and smash things? Go play Getting Over It.
I could see that rage in Corey's face when he played it that one time.
Oh my god, yeah. Dude. It's a mess.
It tricks you because it starts off and you're like, yeah, this mechanic's pretty easy. I get it. And 2 seconds later, you're just getting fucked over.
Yeah.
I can't remember. There was a streamer I watched actually, like around the time that it became, like a big topic on Twitch for a little bit. And I watched the dude like literally get up and just break his keyboard on stream, and then he just cut his stream off like right immediately after. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. You should go watch Markiplier's series on Getting Over It, man. Like, he has to, like, he ends his videos early. He's just like, he has to get up and walk away. Like, he can't even deal with it. It's so rage-inducing.
I like his horror stuff, really.
Oh yeah, he's really.
Yeah, I enjoy Markiplier. He's really funny. But yeah, that definitely watching him play and get it over. It was probably one of my favorite series ever. Because just watching him rage out was amazing.
Oh yeah. So we have a couple more topics left. I sorry, getting off topic a little bit. So Conan Exiles. I'll let you take that one over.
Yeah. So Conan Exiles finally, after what is it? I think it's been a year. Came out last year.
I think a year and a half.
Finally going full release this Tuesday. I'm actually pretty impressed because I got it when it first came out. Like the day it launched, I got it.
Same here.
I can be honest, it was fucking terrible. It was super terrible. You realize that it was Minecraft for the amount of stuff you could do almost immediately. I think there was like iron and steel. That was it. That's all you had. There was no content. There was all these like cool places in the world that had no reason to go to. Like, there was dungeons that you couldn't enter. There was all kinds of shit. But now, so I've been playing it recently, and they've added in, I would say the majority of the content is already there. And then come Tuesday, they're releasing the volcano region and the swamp region, as well as 2 new gods or deities. And it looks like it's going to be pretty damn good. And one of the refreshing things I found is I haven't felt this in a game in a long time, is like the joy of exploring and not knowing what was going on. It's mostly survival games, like open world games. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to get resources. But Conan brings a new level of like, I want to know what this is all about. I want to know what these ghosts are doing, and it really immerses you into that whole lore of Conan. Like it was maybe last week I was playing it with my buddy, and we found some ghosts like hanging out in a temple, and we were like, what the hell? And like the ghost sacrificed the lady, and we're like, I think we should do that. So we dragged a guy in there and killed him, and sure enough, it opened up a secret passage to this huge dungeon. We had no idea what we were doing. It was super immersive the entire time we were in there. We obviously died to some horrible creature at the end, but I've never experienced that sort of joy of exploration in a game in so long.
Well, then
That's awesome.
And that's one of the other things too with Conan that I even liked after I played it a couple months after they finally got a good couple updates into it and everything. And when you go out and explore too, you can't just go out and explore. You have to be ready to go out and explore, or even go out and gather resources.
And even more so in Conan now. Like, so my server has the sandstorms enabled and all that stuff. So if you don't have a sandstorm mask, it's not like in the pre-release where, okay, now I can't really see all that well. That shit like drains your stamina, it hurts you, it kills your hydration. Like, it's crippling. If you're out there for long enough, you end up like dying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so, it's really cool. Like, I'm excited about that. But that's also the big thing too. Is DC, you're playing it on Tuesday, I think, right? Here on INN for your stream.
Yeah, I'll be playing it on launch on my own server that I have. It's only 10 slots right now, but like if anybody wants to join it, they can. It's obviously password protected to avoid like people that I don't want in there. And it's PvE only right now. I'll probably go PvP later, but since it's gonna be launched and there's gonna be so much stuff to like learn and figure out, I didn't want to have people dicking around with each other at the same time as trying to like see all the new cool stuff.
Yeah, if you guys are wondering about it too, I just posted the link for Discord in chat. If you guys want to join the Imperium Discord and contact DC during launch week, you guys get a hold of him and find out if you could join the server and play. I know I'm probably going to jump in at some point this week too, because I want to see what all the new content's about. I've purposely been holding off a little bit just to see like the changes and stuff. Like I had a server for a little bit and I had a blast with it. Like, it is just too much fun to go and
like,
just
I
build
literally
stuff.
just wiped my Conan server, so it's like completely fresh and ready for when the update comes, and I'm probably not going to touch it again until Tuesday.
Build a whole new world with all the new update stuff.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, man, I was talking about it with my buddies at work, and everybody was like, Conan, like, we all kind of had a sour taste in our mouth because, you know, it was a shitty game at launch. It was terrible. I wouldn't say it was boasting a lot of stuff, but I think people expected more from it. And now, like, I just had fun running around looking for stuff and like learning emotes, and like there's the crafting tree. So if you're the type of player that plays a survival game and you never leave your house, or you only get resources and you go back, you will never get to the top of that game, because even if you max out your crafting tree, there's stuff that you can only get from doing dungeons or killing bosses, and you will learn different recipes and different things from them that you can't get any other way. So there's actually a huge incentive to explore the world. Yeah,
that's one of the cool things. I think we even talked about how you got a lot of the deities and stuff now. Like, you go and you get everything leveled up enough to where you could go and get this whole god and then just start smashing other people's stuff, or smashing a zone that you need to get cleared out a little bit and stuff like that. That was a really cool aspect of Conan that I liked.
There's also random world bosses now.
I heard about that. I haven't got to see them yet though.
Yeah, so they're like, I ran into one today when I was wiping my server. I was just kind of like flying around checking stuff out, and there was a massive crocodile just hanging out by the water. And I was like, that's weird. It's kind of big. So I went and fought it, and turns out that was just a randomly generated world boss.
Oh wow, they just
like,
randomly popped up.
Yeah, so there's no real strategy. You can't like go online and be like, where's this gonna spawn normally? Like I'm sure someone will figure out a pattern eventually, but it is random and they will just be wherever. And so you could be like hanging out one day and all of a sudden there's a crocodile at your door that's 10 times the normal size, and you're like, well, we're fucked. Or you can try to kill it and you get an achievement, or you'll learn something from killing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was sorry. Wait,
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I wanted to say real quick. Hey, give me a second. I have to actually cut myself off this because somebody contacted me. So I'm just, I didn't disconnect. Just walking out for a second.
Oh, no worries. Potato Play, one of our other INN streamers, just brought up the other thing I forgot to put in the show notes this week too is Paladins actually launches out of beta finally. That's also been in beta, I think, for quite a few years actually, like at least 3 years, 2 or 3 years. And then they're going full release this week. And then you actually, if you guys jump on now, it's free to play, and you guys can play all of the champions they've got currently up until Tuesday. So Tuesday they've got their big launch out of beta finally, and then they're actually another developer I have to give credit to for doing the whole. You know, they keep their community informed. Like they're like, hey, we know we're gonna have some bugs still. We're gonna do this, but we're gonna constantly work on it. Don't worry, we're not abandoning that effort and everything. But they got a lot of cool stuff. They also recently launched their battle pass with a lot of cool stuff. It's not nearly as big as Fortnite's. It's only 50
I always
tiers.
find it funny that keeping in touch with your public or like the gaming community can alleviate so much of you being a shitty game developer. I'm not saying Paladins is, but like you can be a really bad game developer, and as long as you're honest and like keeping up with like your social media and like keeping in contact, people don't seem to care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As long as people know, then you're like, okay, cool. Like I'm not walking into a shitstorm basically of finding out all these bugs are here and the developers haven't said anything about it yet. And then you also get 200 free crystals for playing in the beta too. So if you guys haven't done it yet, like definitely jump in, get your free 200 crystals, which is like their premium currency, the equivalent of like V-Bucks for Fortnite. It's definitely worth it. It's a lot of fun. It's a game I've actually had a lot of fun with again recently, just because I like the variety. Everybody has always tagged it as a game too similar to Overwatch, but I'm like, Paladins has been around a little bit longer. It was actually in development a lot longer than Overwatch was, but I like the variety in characters a little bit better. Overwatch
just had a major backing, like Blizzard. So of course that was like polished up to a high sheen, like all Blizzard games, and came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and Paladins definitely was not that initially. So it's good to see that they're still working on it. And I think they're actually outpaced them in Heroes now, or Champions. So that's another big thing. So another thing we had on the Battle Royale genre was PUBG's early event shutdown early this weekend.
PUBG. I should almost sit this one out because I'm so triggered by PUBG.
Considering we used to play it all the time for our squad ups.
Oh my god, dude! But I even hated it then. I was just doing it because other people wanted to play.
Well, and you had fun when we were playing, but it wasn't the same level of enjoyment as it is now. But yeah, so they had their awesome war mode come back, which everybody was excited about because the first war mode was 10v10v10. It was a 30 player thing, but they turned this into a 100 player, but with 5-man teams, all in that same little, 20. Yeah, it's 20, I think, something like that. But it was a bunch of 5-man teams. You throw in a little zone, and you get level 3 items from all your. It's basically crate weapons and armor and all that stuff only, and. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I played it the first day, and it was great. And yeah, they shut it down early because they were having too many server performance issues, and that was the root cause of it. I'm like, guys, you guys have been launched now for how many months, and you still haven't figured out your server issues? Like, come on.
I feel like they should just shut down the whole game because the whole game has fucking server issues.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least they've region locked, so that was a good thing. Like, I'm not seeing nearly as many hackers as I used to.
No, and I've heard that a lot. Like, a lot of people have been bugging me to come back, and they're like, dude, the hackers are gone. Like, it's a lot better now. But the thing that kills me, and this probably stems from, like, my Counter-Strike days, is I cannot stand the fucking server tick rate. That is what kills me. It's not the hackers. It's not the glitchy niche. It's the shitty servers with that low tick rate. Where, like, you fill a guy with rounds, and because you're not in sync with the server for that split second because the tick rate's so shit, you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that.
That's what fucking kills me. Like, I notice it from 64 to 128 when I go from regular CSGO to ESEA, and I definitely notice it when I go down to like 17 or 10 or whatever the hell PUBG runs on.
Yeah, it's definitely really bad.
PUBG.
It's like we could go ahead and we're getting short on time here. Let's go on to, I guess, our essential top story of this week, which has kind of been the on and off controversy of a few different things. Is Destiny 2. Destiny 2 has got their new Warmind update coming out. I think it's this week, right? Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so the big thing that happened this week, or actually it just happened like yesterday, I think, was they put Destiny 2 on June's Humble Bundle early unlock. So you could go unlock Destiny 2 now for $12, and you get the rest of the Humble Bundle stuff on the beginning of June. But what does that say about Destiny? Like, I think their game has definitely gone down in popularity quite a bit because they pissed off their community so many times. That
it's definitely in a downward dying swing right now, and I've noticed that from a lot of people. So again, not my personal experience because I don't personally play Destiny, but one of my best friends that I play a lot of video games with, like Sea of Thieves and stuff, he is a huge Destiny fan. Like, it's like talking to a Mass Effect fan. Like, they can do no wrong. He was like that, and now Destiny 2, he's like, no, fuck that game. And exactly, caters to casuals. It's just, he just hates it.
Well,
I'm going to go. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm going to go with my bro, Potato Pleb, and his sentiments with the game.
There you go. And it was the reason I didn't buy it, because the first game was such a grind that I just couldn't get into it.
They went the exact opposite direction. Now it's like super casual.
Yeah, and like, and I think
ground.
like, at least the grind had a point to it, and that's my problem, is that if you didn't have a story, and you're just horrible, then I'm not gonna go with you in this bullshit. Because the thing is I appreciate this game a lot, and the thing I hate the most is when you give me bullshit stuff like, hey, guess what? We're gonna be like this, or we're gonna be like this, and you just you promise so much but deliver so little, and then try to find at least the small parts that can be like consolations is what pisses me off about it.
Yeah.
You're just like, dude, you're such an insulting game. It's like, I'm frustrated because you can't take me serious as a gamer. You act like you give a shit, but you don't really give a shit, and it becomes a point to where, like, you talk about community, but you make no community-based game of any sort besides, hey, I need somebody to help raid, and that is the equivalent to saying, hey, let's hook up tonight. And it becomes just bullshit. It's just a bullshit. And like, even when I went to the release and was there, like, hey, this feels great as graphics, but it still feels like the same Destiny. You just gave it another expansion pack and you called it 2.
Well, and that was the thing that pissed me off a lot about the first one, is you go and you spend this extra money. What was it? It was almost $60, I think, this time too, right? For the expansion pass?
Yeah.
And you only get the 2 expansions, and then they're going to continue releasing more that they're not included in the expansion pack. You're like, so I just paid the equivalent of another game for 2 bonus pieces of content. Now you're going to charge me $15 or $30 every time you do it, just like the first one.
I mean, I get trying to like toe the line between casual and hardcore, right? Like, you can't have a game that's just all hardcore, and you can't have a game that's all casual. But like, they didn't toe the line at all.
No. They're
like, meh.
They're kind of jerking in one way or the other, like back and
They like
forth.
phoned it in on this one, as I feel. You know what I mean? Like, let's just take Destiny 1 and like change a few things and make it casual.
Well, I mean, they had a good formula finally at the end, where people had a purpose, they were having fun with it, and everything was great. Then they make Destiny 2, and it was exactly the opposite of what they promised to deliver. They're like, yeah, we learned all of our lessons from the first one, and we're great, and we're gonna have a great time with this one. You guys are gonna love it. And then they release it, and everybody's like, they're looking at them like, what did you guys do? Why? And
that seems to be the result, almost the reaction from everybody that was a Destiny fan. Is like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's me. I was so big on Destiny when it first was like an initial idea, like just the whole idea of it being like this 10-year vision and this cycle of content. And like, Destiny at its core is a real fun game. Like, the shooting mechanics are amazing. Bungie is incredible with that. And coming off of Bungie, you expect so much more. And it's sad to like see them like shoot themselves in the foot with this game. And it's weird that they don't know what to do and how to handle it. And it's
different because everybody loves Bungie for their Halo days. And to be honest, I'm still one of those people who are going to say, I wish they had just fucking stuck with Halo and stopped.
Me too.
I kind of like didn't play Destiny either because I had Warframe, which was
and Warframe was
basically the same fucking game,
and it's way better polished and better updates. Like,
And it's free.
And it's
like
free.
granted, they added in like the microtransaction stuff, but even that wasn't that bad.
No, theirs is reasonable too. Like Warframe,
And you can make a lot of money off that one. Well, not like you can make a lot of the in-game currency just by playing it.
Yeah,
so it's not like you're stuck to pay to win, or you're like tied to these microtransactions. Like you can just go grind and play a little extra, and then sell stuff to people that are injecting it.
Exactly.
And you're good.
Yeah, and their free to play model is perfect. Like that should be like the embodiment of what other companies should look at for future like microtransactions. Making it to the point where if you want to make a free game,
make that money.
Yeah,
you gotta make that money.
I mean,
Nobody's gonna take the one that's working.
Like if you went now, and if Warframe went and changed their mind, like granted they would piss off regular players, but if they went and charged $30 for their game in the future and gave you like a starter pack of stuff for that, and then still kept the game the same, like that would still be reasonable to me.
I don't think you'd see a huge decline either because Warframe's such a good game, and I don't think Destiny will ever hit that level.
No. And then there's still
talk to their community and communicate about everything that's going on, unlike Bungie does.
Yeah, like and the Warframe partners is also another thing that they do a hell of a lot better. They actually get their community involved and get streamers like you, Captain, like you're a Warframe partner.
Yeah.
So I mean, like the stuff they do for the community too is a hell of a lot better. They listen so much better. Like especially if you see them at conventions, like they'll openly talk about, hey, like we'll talk about what we can. We can't tell you too many future details of the stuff we haven't released yet publicly, but here's some ways you can improve your your community streams. Here's some cool stuff you can give away. It's.
I think that's a huge sign when you're talking about a game like Destiny 2, and then immediately what comes up within like 5-10 minutes is a game that's so much better and free.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge kicker for that game too. Is like anybody that's not aware of Warframe, like just go get Warframe. It's free. Fuck Destiny 2. That game's trash.
Then you think like Activision could totally be doing the same thing. They could totally be doing the same thing. They have way more budget with them than
no. We're leading a revolution here, gentlemen. It's borderline saying that we want games to be better and not just the crappy state that they're constantly left at.
Yeah.
We need to be careful here. We're treading on dangerous ground.
Yeah.
But Potato Club brings up like Destiny 2 has a bigger community and a bigger Twitch viewership, but at the same time Warframe's been out a fuck ton longer than Destiny 2. So like every new game or newer game is always gonna like sit on top of the charts for a little while. Look at Sea of Thieves before the content dropped. Like that shit was like almost #1, and then within a couple weeks it just died off. Like people are still just dedicated to Destiny 2 and like hoping that things are gonna get better, whereas Warframe's been out for years.
See, those people are truly masochists because they're letting that happen. To me, it's just like, nah, I gotta drop this. This is not worth my time. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I left Dead by Daylight. It was like, if I'm putting a lot of effort into this community and showing my love, and what I'm getting back, especially from the community leader themselves, is just false promises. It's like, I don't want to be part of that. Like,
it's like being in a bad relationship. Like,
yeah,
yourself, just stay in that. Like, why would you do that to yourself?
Exactly. And that was the thing with Dead by Daylight. They were really listening in the beginning with their community, and they're really good about communicating that stuff. And then all of a sudden, it just feel like they just cut a line and dropped it off for whatever reason, and then they'll announce updates.
I don't mean to be that person, but I'm just gonna say is that the main reason is because community managers lost sight from what they used to be of a humble person to like now I'm a Twitch celebrity. And I'm not trying to be a jerk, and I'm not going to say their name. I'm just saying that like when you watch the progression, because I knew that person, and when they kind of transition, it stopped being about, hey, I want to represent you, to more of, hey, I'm listening to what they're telling me. So then you lose that community manager side, because why everybody's screaming, please help the Wraith and get its box back in fucking order. Like, it is so unbalanced, and it's just not getting anywhere. Their fix was not even like, hey, we're going to update this, we're going to make a firm attempt for it. It was more like they didn't talk about it, everyone got upset, and then the next time they said they did a glaze over, like, yeah, we mixed some stuff for the, for the Wraith, but it's not super much. And then like that was it. It was like, this is what we're going to give you. You just got to suck it up and deal with it. And I'm just like, that's such an unacceptable attitude.
That was like, I realized after the first, I think like 6 months of Dead by Daylight too, because I used to watch the community streams every week, and then at some point they were just like, yeah, we hear you on this issue, but we're not going to do anything about it. Sorry. Like it was like that every week, and I'm like, so you guys you guys know about these issues, but
said before, when it's like, as long as they're active and talking to their community, you don't seem to care about like the shittiness. But as soon as they start ignoring you, you're like, man, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
Very true.
Yeah,
I've played a lot of shitty games, but because the developers are constantly putting out updates like daily, weekly, whatever, I'm like, okay. I don't mind it as much. But it's when you hear nothing, that silence from like a company, that's when it kills you, and that's when it kills your following.
Yeah, and
Yeah, because it's. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
oh, that's another one. Like the silence is another one we'll have to get into another week. Is Cyberpunk on their random like year-long silences. Same thing
Well,
with the Call of Cthulhu game.
Must be pulling a Sean Murray.
I don't think it's so much of the silence. I think it's just they're not trying to do what Red is, because sometimes with certain companies when they make their game, they're not trying to do what these people are trying to tell them to do. Like, oh hey, you need to hurry up because we need to tell people about the game. It's like, well, why did you initially announce it, but you didn't do anything to change it later? It almost seemed like you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do something later, or like just making these announcements. I think builds that that problem for these companies to say like, hey, we're not ready yet, and then having the publishers always go, oh no, you need to push up the time and you need to get it faster. It's like, well, if they're not done with the game and they're trying to work out the kinks, why are you pushing them to release something that's not going to be good?
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't mind a little bit of secrecy, and I'll jump back to Sea of Thieves again just because I really love that game. Is how secretive that company was with like the Kraken and like other things that were coming. Like there was like no information on it, and that was actually nice, but it wasn't like the game was fucked and they were being quiet. They were like being secretive about patch notes and things like that, which I thought was kind of like a breath of fresh air, as opposed to like knowing everything that's coming out and how to get it immediately.
Yeah, that's a different thing. Like giving players something to explore too is like a big difference.
Yeah, and especially because Sea of Thieves is all based on like exploring that world and like kind of there's no real tutorial. It's all figuring it out. I thought that was actually really cool.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be doing that when it comes to like glitches, patches, and like
no. Like when you're
things that are broken in your game. Like you should probably speak up.
Like the pending items. Like it's different when you're releasing content and you can be quiet about that and wait for it. But when it's stuff that's like pending on the table and everybody's seeing it and they're like, hey, what's going on, guys? Like, can we get a solution to this? Then that's a different story.
I think some companies don't understand the difference.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we're running out of time for today. But yeah, I want to give a shout out to all of our hosts and our special guest, Pwnecast. Thank you guys so much. If you guys haven't checked them out here, I'll put it in the chat here.
So much.
You guys gonna hear me typing a little bit. I'm sorry.
I suppose you don't noise get your OBS to get rid of that.
I can, but it doesn't catch that enough. Like I've been trying to tweak it for weeks now, and it's terrible.
Me too. Oh my god, my keyboard's so loud.
Yeah, like so. What the hell was it? What was doing it to me?
I wanted to just be like, like as he was typing, be like, "Dear Martha, I write to you from the lines. I didn't hope this letter reaches you." Like it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah, I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So, yeah, you get any last words for today's show, guys?
Not anything terribly crazy. Just like Tuesday on INN, we'll be doing the Conan full release stream on my personal server. So, like I said, there's a few slots available, and if you guys are checking out the stream that day, like, definitely hit me up, and I can probably get you in. Other than that, no, I got nothing.
Captain, you got anything?
This was a cool experience. Thank you guys. You can find me on Twitch, my channel. I think Rune should put it in there. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
I guess I'll say, hey guys, thank you. I actually wanted to say more or less thank you. I always worry about these because I feel like I sometimes commandeer conversations, and I'm sorry if I do that, but I had a really good time. I really enjoyed it a lot, and thank you guys for all being here. You can check me out at Pwnecast if you're into survival and horror and just zany shit for it. I usually never. I think I'm a horrible promoter of myself because even in my own room, I'm not like follow me. I'm just like, follow if you feel like it. I don't care.
You gotta be like, go to Pwnecast now and check him out. Hit that follow button.
I don't know. I feel genuine. Like it's like a date. Like I don't want to have to convince a girl to go out with me. I'd rather she just be like, I like this guy. I'm gonna go out with him. Like
you want the followers to pick you up. You don't want to have to pick them up. I get it.
Yeah. It's basically my approach because I think everybody has. I tell people my main thing is that like for all people, and this goes for everyone. The guys in Twitch is that follow people that you want to follow. Don't follow because everybody followed or anything else. You should genuinely like those, and don't be scared to share with other people because in the end, really, if we all helped facilitate where people were going in this, people would find the right streamers for them, and a lot of people would be benefiting instead of hoarding.
Beautifully said.
Fair enough. Philosophical at the end. I like it.
There we go. Alrighty. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I definitely appreciate it. We'll be back next Sunday, same time, same place. You guys can check out the video on YouTube also tomorrow. It'll be up and ready for your viewing pleasure. If not, you guys can check it out here on Twitch. Again, thank you all so much. Have a great day, everybody.
Peace out, chat.